What is up, everybody? Man, do we have a lot to talk about tonight? We just wrapped Nebraska at Big Ten Media Days, and head coach Matt Rhule, Dylan Raiola, Henry Lateef, Deshaun Singleton, and Marques Buford, they dropped a lot of nuggets about this team going into 2025. What are we? We're only, 6 days away from fall camp? Time has flown by. Just a couple months ago, just a couple days ago, it felt like, it was January. We're talking transfer portal, and now the season is almost here. So it's exciting, it's humbling, and we got a big year ahead of us, man. All the expectations. Are you starting to drink the Kool-Aid yet? Because I know I definitely am. So everybody, before we get into this loaded show, make sure to hit that like button on the stream. Let me know down below in the comment section, in the live chat, where you're tuning in from. Because once again, we have a lot to get into, so I hope you guys are all having a great night. But let's just start things off with everything that Matt Rhule talked about at Big Ten Media Days. The nuggets that he shared, whether it's about this roster this year, whether it's about some of the breakout players, some of the other things going on with the program, because I thought he had a lot of good things to tell us. Number one, I thought was really interesting. Put a bow on the Scott Frost situation. I just want to get this out of the way because I know I'm going to get comments about it. And I just want to give you my take on the Scott Frost deal. I was cool talking about it on day one when Scott Frost took a shot in Nebraska at Big 12 Media Days. That's great. One thing I did not like, though, was the media. The media, they'll talk about the Scott Frost, his comments for weeks and weeks on it because they can't get enough of Scott Frost. So at that point, I was over it, but I knew Matt Rhule, he was going to get a comment about Scott Frost today, his opinions on what he said, going forward, everything else. And Matt Rhule, you know how he is. He's a politician. He was all class. Matt Rhule said that, honestly, what happened at Nebraska was not Scott Frost's fault. Now, I thought that was definitely, like, are we sure here? It was definitely Frost's fault. But, I thought Matt Rhule, we know how it is when it comes to him. Like, he's never going to take a shot at anybody. He's never going to say something that's going to be a bad look for the program, which is kind of a 180 from what we had previously under Scott Frost. But I thought something was interesting as well. He said that when Matt Rhule got here, he hung up a picture of Scott Frost on the wall. It's in the facility of him coaching Nebraska. That's a little bit too far. I think a lot of Nebraska fans are not happy to hear that. Like, I'm all for showing Scott Frost respect, but hanging up pictures of him on the wall after he was like the worst coach we've had here in 50, 60 years. I don't know, but I thought that was interesting. So I wanted to get that, right off the bat because I know I'm going to get comments about that. But I thought Matt Rhule, he was very nice about the whole Scott Frost situation, which is how you should be. Again, just going back to what Scott Frost said 2 weeks ago, just again, put my final thoughts on it. Was it disrespectful? Yes, but should the media talk about it for 2-3 weeks on end? Absolutely not. It was a one-time thing. Let's move on. I'm still rooting for him at UCF. I got no bad blood. And this is coming from somebody who was not a big Scott Frost fan. I did not believe in him after the 2020 season. Like, after that, I was done. Going into 2021, I knew he wasn't the guy. But I'm still rooting for him at UCF because I got no bad blood. I'm not the type of person to hate on a guy. And the same deal with Mike Riley. When Mike Riley was coaching the UFL team, a couple years ago, I was rooting for him, right? Doesn't mean they're bad people, just they didn't succeed here. So I wanted to give you that because I thought it was a little interesting nugget there with Matt Rhule. He put a picture of Scott Frost on the wall at the facility. Interesting. I want to hear your guys' thoughts about that. All right, let's get into some of the other nuggets. So Matt Rhule, we kind of know how it is at Big Ten Media Days. As the confidence goes on, as the offseason goes on, he usually gets more and more confident. You see with these interviews, he's starting to, talk a little bit. He knows that we're going to be really good this year. But at Big Ten Media Days, he kind of always hones it down a little bit. He didn't really say anything about the team this year. He said he thinks we're going to be good. He feels good about the roster. He said that we're going to take a jump this year, same old stuff. But he wasn't talking that big like he kind of has been in other interviews, right? He said in the spring that this was the team that he's been waiting for. He said in an interview not too long ago that we were going to shock some people. He didn't say any of that at Big Ten Media Days. And, there's good reason why. Because, once again, our past coaches would go to Big Ten Media Days. They'd talk all their talk, and we wouldn't live up to it. So I know Matt Rhule definitely, he was asked about his expectations for this year, and he said, I'm not willing to reveal that. I'm not willing to reveal what the expectation in the locker room is. Now, I told you guys all offseason that inside that building, the expectation is the college football playoffs. That's what they expect to happen. They expect to win 10 games. Now, Matt Rhule didn't want to say that because that's going to get headlines, right? National media is going to take that and run with it. So it's very smart that he didn't say that, but that is the real expectation. Now, I thought it was interesting. Dylan Raiola was asked the exact same question. He said, what's the expectation this year? Okay, Matt Rhule said he's not going to reveal that. Dylan Raiola said it's to make the college football playoffs. That's what's going on in that building. So, again, just take that for what it's worth. You don't have to believe that yourself. Okay, you do not have to believe that Nebraska is making the college football playoff. That's fine. I understand, right? We've been hurt a lot in the past 10 years. And it's hard for us as fans to go from a Pinstripe Bowl victory, which felt like a good step in the right direction, to going to a college football playoff. But that's what a lot of people expect, especially inside that building from a player and coach standpoint. So I just thought that was interesting. Matt Rhule didn't say that specifically because he didn't want to get on, national television. He didn't want to be on First Take tomorrow morning. Stephen A. Smith, Nebraska made the playoff. Matt Rhule's crazy. But Dylan Raiola kind of revealed that. So again, that's what they're expecting inside the building. I thought Matt Rhule also had something interesting. He talked about the close games last year. Of course, that's always a big conversation, right? Why does Nebraska always lose these close games? And he said something, he kind of doubled down on something that I heard from him a couple months ago that I completely disagree with. And I'll tell you why. Matt Rhule was asked about the close games, and he said, and I quote, "We lost a lot of those games because we weren't good enough. Our focus is improving as a team." And he said that a couple months ago as well. He said the reason why we lost close games, he said it wasn't because of the coaching staff. It was because our players weren't making plays when it mattered the most. And I don't necessarily disagree with that point. Like, yes, our players are not clutch, right? None of our players were clutch last year. Dylan Raiola, objectively, was not clutch. Some of our receivers were not clutch, had some drops in big moments. Our defense was not clutch. When we needed a big stop, they wouldn't come up with it. So he's not wrong that from a talent standpoint might not be good enough, but at the exact same time, you go to some of our close losses last year, like UCLA, Michigan State in 2023, Wisconsin in 2023, our season opener in Matt Rhule's first game against Minnesota. We were good enough talent wise to win all those games. We didn't lose those games because we weren't talented enough. We weren't good enough, like Matt Rhule's implying. We lost those games simply because we weren't well coached, and we weren't disciplined enough, and we weren't great from a schematic standpoint. So I kind of disagree with Matt Rhule from that standpoint. Like, I know he likes to shield the coaching staff a lot. Like, he was kind of on his high horse a little bit today about Marcus Satterfield. He said that Marcus Satterfield takes too much blame from the fan base. Like, I know what you're trying to do here, Matt, but let's be real here. Marcus Satterfield wasn't great. He just wasn't. You don't have to beat around the bush. We know how it is. So I understand that Matt Rhule's kind of protecting his coaching staff. That's fine. But at the exact same time, don't tell me the reason why we lost close games is because we weren't good enough. Because we lost to some pretty bad teams, whether it was one last year or the year before, that weren't better than us. It was just simply, for whatever reason, and I don't have the answers to this, and the coaching staff clearly doesn't either until maybe this year, we just aren't a clutch team. We don't have that winning culture maybe necessarily, and we just aren't game planning at the highest level. But again, hopefully that's going to change this year. I do expect it to. But I thought that was an interesting comment that I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts on. We'll get to it. Now, again, a couple of other things. He was asked about NIL, which I thought he had a little bit of an interesting nugget that I want to hear your guys' opinions on. He said he was asked about how playing time is impacted by NIL, meaning if a player is getting paid $100,000, does that mean he's going to play a lot more than somebody's getting paid a lot less? And he said He said that playing time has a lot more to do with production than it does NIL. And he said, "I can tell you last year," and I quote, "one of our highest paid players didn't even play." Per Matt Rhule. So you can think whatever you want to think about who that player is, right? That one of their highest paid players last year did not even get on the field. Who do you think that is? I have my opinion. I think I know who it is. I think I know who it is. I think it's Tommy Hill. That's my guess is who it is. I think it's because of the injuries that he had. I think it's another one as well. I think there could be a linebacker in there who's no longer with the program. Those are my two guesses there. But I thought that was an interesting thing that he said that one of the highest paid players last year didn't even play. So if you think that maybe a true freshman is getting paid this, that, and the third, that they're going to play over some walk-on who's not getting paid much just because of the money alone, not the talent, it's probably not going to be the case. Money really doesn't have anything to do with it. They're going to put the best players on the field no matter what. 1 second. All right. And then let's get into some player nuggets because he had some very, very interesting player nuggets to say the least, right? About some of the current guys on our team, some breakout players. I thought he had something interesting to say about the offensive line. Now we know that we're pretty much certain about 4 of the 5 starters. We know Elijah Pritchett's going to be our left tackle. It's going to be Lateef at left guard. It's going to be Justin Evans at center, Rocco Spindler at right guard. But then at right tackle, that's a big battle for the Huskers. We have no idea who that's going to be. We have no idea. However, he had something interesting to say that it's going to likely be Tyler Knack, that he will be our right tackle starter this year. He said that if we had a game tomorrow, Tyler Knack would be our starter there. It wouldn't be Teddy Prohaska. It wouldn't be Gunnar Gatula. It wouldn't be Turner Corcoran. He said Corcoran's actually still a little bit banged up. He probably won't be ready to go when we start the season, which go figure, right? Go figure. But I thought that was interesting. Because because can Tyler Knack get a very strong spring ball? Now, I will say this. I do think when it's all said and done, when we're actually playing Cincinnati, it will be Teddy Prohaska, because I do believe Teddy Prohaska is more talented and is a better player actually on the field than Tyler Knack. The thing with Teddy, of course, is just can he stay healthy over the course of 12 games? Probably won't be the case, but I thought that was interesting. He said Tyler Knack will be our right tackle starter as of right now going into fall camp. Now, if that changes, it changes, but right now, Tyler Knack is that guy. He also had some interesting things to say about a couple tight ends. Carter Nelson, 100% healthy. That's news to a lot of people's ears. Now, he should be full go when we get things going on Monday. From a weight standpoint, they updated the roster today. He's at 240. We'll go over that in a bit. So, a lot of good stuff there around Carter Nelson. But also, Markway is completely healthy as well. That's somebody who Nebraska, and they need to have a big year on that tight end spot. So, again, everybody's healthy in that tight end room. It's going to be a legit battle. I'm excited to see who wins that. I still think it's going to be Lindenmeyer, just because Lindenmeyer had a very strong spring ball. I don't know what Haarberg's role is going to be. I don't think Haarberg's going to be a traditional tight end. He just can't block at a high level. That's the only problem with Haarberg is I know he blocked pretty well in the bowl game, but he was blocking against DBs at the normal tight end position in the box. You're going to have to block against edge rushers and linebackers. Are we sure that a converted quarterback can do that at a high level in year one of transitioning to tight end? I just don't think so. So I think Haarberg's role is more so not going to be a tight end, more of a utility knife. So I don't even consider him to really be a traditional tight end, but I think it's going to be Lindenmeyer, probably Markway after that, and then Carter Nelson third string. Just because yes, Carter Nelson's healthy, but I don't know if it's still going to take time with him. That's just my anticipation going into fall camp. He had something interesting to say about Isaiah Mozee as well. So we know that Isaiah Mozee is a full-on running back now. Again, I still think it's going to be like a Wan'Dale Robinson type role. Like he will line up in the backfield. He'll still line up in the slot. I think long-term, going into his true sophomore campaign and going into his third year, that more likely than not, he's going to be a wide receiver going forward. But with that being said, right now he is a running back. And Matt Rhule said the reason why they moved him there is because, get this, it gives him a better opportunity to play, which is the exact thing I told you guys when we heard the news. And I think it's interesting. This tells you everything you need to know about Quinn Ives and the rest of the running back room, okay? And I told you guys all offseason, I was concerned about this room. You needed a transfer there. I was not confident in Quinn Ives. I wasn't believing the coach talk when they're hyped him up. Actions speak louder than words. And the fact that they brought in Isaiah Mozee and moved him to running back because they feel like he could play a lot more there kind of tells you they're not very confident about Quinn Ives, or they're not very confident about Mekhi Nelson, or they are not too confident about maybe Jamarion Parker, with him staying healthy over the course of a year in his true freshman campaign. So I think actions speak louder than words there. Quinn Ives will probably still play, but if he was our solidified running back too, they would not move Isaiah Mozee to that position. So interesting there. I do like that move for Isaiah Mozee, but we just got to use him like a Wan'Dale. Is his future fully at running back? No, because I do believe he's a better wide receiver than he is running back with his elusiveness, his slot ability. But any way you can get this guy on the football field, that's all I care about, right? Because he's so elusive, he's so dynamic. So I thought that was interesting around Mr. Isaiah Mozee. Then I want to go and talk about the new weights that we saw today. So again, they updated the roster. A lot of these freshmen, a lot of these transfers, they dropped some new weights for them. So I just want to react to these because a lot of these, defensive linemen, they put on a lot of big weight, especially a couple of these freshmen as well. So Malcolm Hartzog, we'll just run through this, see if there's any interesting ones. Bryce Turner put on 20 pounds. That's interesting. Amari Sanders, 175, moved to 190. That's potentially going to be your corner starter alongside Sierra Wright. A lot of Husker fans love to hear that. Larry Tarver, he got an inch on him. Okay, Larry Tarver put on an inch. Let's see. Sierra Wright put on 10 pounds. Andrew Marshall put on 5 pounds. Let's see. Cameron Lenhart put on 10 pounds up to 270. Elijah Judy up to 300. So that pretty much tells you Elijah Judy is going to be our nose tackle. Now a 3 technique this year. Other than that, let's keep him rolling. Keona Davis put on 20 pounds. He's up to about 275. Okay. Like to see that. Pete Shock is only 265. Oh, I don't love that. Ooh, that does not help my agenda that Cade Peachock is going to potentially play as a true freshman. Wow. I'm disappointed by that. I thought he was going to be on campus about 280. So he still could play because we know that Keona Davis, he played in 11 games last year at 255. But I thought maybe Cade would be a little bit more heavy. So that's okay, though. But interesting. David Hoofkin, look at this. David Hoofkin, who was already an athletic freak, already jacked out of his mind, went from 255 to 285. I mean, he's a specimen. We'll just say that. But, I mean, that just because you can throw around a lot of weight in the weight room doesn't mean that you're actually a good football player. So, well, that's interesting though. I like to see how David Hooken looks. Like, I bet he looks like an animal right now, man. I'm excited to see him though. I hope he works out. I really do. Like, obviously it was a very high risk, high reward type of deal. Probably is not going to work out in the long run, but hey, man, he's somebody who, I mean, just looks the part. So we'll see. Look at this. Okay, so we have Malcolm Simpson. He put on 20 pounds since he got here. That's somebody who could be in the mix also as a true freshman. Had a little bit of an, I can't remember. He got in an accident, I believe, a couple weeks ago. It was not reported by the media. He got, I want to say it was a car accident or something. He had a little bit of a freak issue that wasn't his fault. I think he's healthy though. That was kind of scary around Malcolm Simpson, but he should be ready to go when it comes to fall camp. But he put on some weight, man. He put on some weight. Williams Uneri put on 10 pounds. I like him to be a little bit bigger, probably 275. But that's fine. I mean, you're not freaking out there. Jalen George put on 25 pounds. That's great there. Gabe Moore did not put on any weights. Other than that, Roger Grandy got big. Okay. Dawson, that's what I want to see. Dawson Merritt is up to 225. That's huge. He could not be 210 anymore. He could not be 210 anymore. He's got to put on weight. So that's probably still not good enough. I like him to go probably about 230, but that's solid. That's solid as a true freshman. Dawson Merritt, if he's 100% healthy, he could very well play. I mean, he's ready to go after having a shoulder injury. He was out all of spring ball. Other than that, let's run through this. Kaahaaina-Torres up to 300 pounds. He's somebody who could be playing as a true freshman on the offensive line. Look at that. Elijah Pritchett's at 325. Man, he's a freak. Elijah Pritchett's a freak. Hopefully he's a freak on the football field, but from an athleticism standpoint, he's very similar to David Hooken. He's a freak. Other than that, let's see. Isaiah Mozee up to 210. That's great. Jamarion Parker's up to 200 pounds. That's huge for him. We knew that, EJ Barthel said multiple times that he needed to put on weight in the offseason. That, when he got on campus, it wasn't good enough to, he was at, I think he was at 180 when he got on campus. So him being up to 200 pounds gives him a legit opportunity to play. Haarberg's only at 230. That's disappointing. I would have liked Haarberg to be up to about 240. So that kind of solidifies that he's probably going to be utility. Just because if you're 230, you can't block. I mean, you're just not big enough to block an edge rusher who's 280 pounds, right? So Haarberg, that is disappointing. I thought he might have been a little bit more heavy. Other than that, Cardinelson we know is up to 240. That's huge for him. Markway actually lost some weight. That's interesting. I don't know why he lost weight. Demitrius Bell put on some good pounds. Jeremiah, look at that. Jeremiah Jones. Look at Jeremiah Jones, 6'4", 225. Does that not get you guys pumped up? Wait, hold on. What was, I want to look at what Malachi Coleman's weight was for us last year. What was Malachi Coleman's weight? Because Malachi Coleman's a very similar player. So he was only 210. So we know how big Malachi was last year. Malachi was 210. Jeremiah Jones is 225 and the same height. Like, he's going to be a freak of nature, and he runs a 4.4. So that should get you excited about that true freshman. I could very well see a headline on day one of fall camp. Jeremiah Jones impresses everybody because, again, he's just such a specimen. Like, it's hard not to notice a guy like him. So wanted to go show you guys that. Also, I saw a picture of Emmett Johnson. Man, Emmett Johnson looking jacked. I believe he's up to, I don't know if it's on there, but I think he's up to about 220 pounds. So Emmett Johnson's in the best shape of his life. All right, let's get back to some more nuggets that we learned from Big Ten Media Days. And of course, we'll get into the comment section. We'll start talking about fall practice because, man, we're 6 days away from fall practice. So we'll do a little preview show about that. We'll talk recruiting a little bit because I had a video that came out earlier today talking recruiting. Got a little pushback from that. So we'll talk about that and a couple other things. Some other notes from Big Ten Media Days. I thought Matt Rhule had something interesting to say about Marcos Davila. He said that Marcos Davila, like the arm talent's there. He's an incredible specimen that he needs to continue to learn Big Ten defenses, that he kind of struggled with that in spring camp, which I completely agree with, right? When I saw Marcos Davila, like there's a lot of things that flash in him, but I mean, he struggled, right? With that, with learning the Big Ten defense, with learning his progressions, of course. So he said that, it's just about the basics right now, Marcos. And if he can get that down, he has a legit opportunity to be our quarterback too. As it stands, Jalen Gramstad's that guy. No different than the same things I've been telling you. It's just like from an athleticism standpoint, from a talent standpoint, like Marcos Davila's head over heels any other quarterback in this room besides Dylan. It's just that, he needs to do the basics right. He hasn't done that so far because he's still young and he's still learning, which is completely fine. Dylan Raiola was interviewed. Usually, I'm not going to lie, like the players don't usually give us that many good stuff. But I thought Dylan said some interesting things. He said that this year he wants to grow as a runner. That's the thing that he's been working on the most, is getting outside the pocket and running, which I'm all for. But honestly, what I want from Dillon is to get outside the pocket, run, but don't actually run for yardage. Just run and get outside the pocket and then make a play with your arm. So I want to see him be more of a Mahomes in that aspect. Where Mahomes, Mahomes will go down the field and he'll get a 5-yard, 10-yard carry every now and then, get a first down. That's great for Mahomes. But usually when he's outside the pocket, Mahomes keeps his eyes downfield and finds somebody deep, right? Or find somebody alongside the sideline. Like, that's what I'm hoping for from Raiola. So I think a lot of people, they overrate, Raiola actually being like a dual threat. Like, that's never going to happen. I just want him to be more active outside the pocket to make plays with his arm. That's really what was something that was phenomenal in his high school film. We didn't see that last year, so hopefully that can show up again. He said that this year, the offense it's going to be explosive, right? Like, that's the main thing that has been improved in spring ball and going into fall ball, is that he expects this offense. We're going to have a lot of chunk plays, deep plays, right? So I'm really excited to see that. He said that he's going to room with Dane this offseason. Of course, the first 3 weeks, I believe, of fall camp, they actually are in the dorm, so they're like, it's basically like a normal college experience, and he's going to room with Dane for those 3 weeks. So that's very important. I've pretty much the entire offseason, like, it's important for Dillon to basically become best friends with Dane because that's really going to show up on the football field, where when Raiola scrambling on a key third down, he knows exactly where Dane is because he knows his tendencies. Whereas last year, Dillon did not have the best relationship with Jamal Banks, or Dillon did not have the best relationship with Isaiah Neyor. And for that reason, when he was scrambling, he didn't know where those guys were going to be. We threw it out of bounds or took a sack, right? So it is important, those little small things like actually becoming buddies off the field. It does show up on game day. So hopefully continue to build out that relationship with Dane, Jacory, Nyziah, Demitrius, some of these other guys in the receiver core. But I thought that was a little interesting nugget. Other than that, again, Dillon Raiola, man, he looks focused. He looks ready to go. He had an interesting fit on today. He was wearing the black on black with the red tie, the little red lining. I thought it was bold. I liked it, though. But the team, they're ready to go. Again, it's interesting, though. I always think it's definitely noteworthy who goes to Big Ten Media Days, because it kind of leaks who the best players on the team are. Dillon's obviously one of the best players on this team. They think that Henry Lateef is the best offensive lineman. So I know the people who think that Rocco's the best offensive lineman. They think that Elijah Pritchett's the best offensive lineman. No, it's clearly Lateef. That's the reason why they brought him. If Rocco was the best, they would have brought him, because again, they don't shy away from bringing transfers. We had a transfer to attend last year's Big Ten Media Days. I think Jamal Banks attended. So, if Rocco was actually the best offensive lineman, he would have been there. But they think Lateef is. So that should be something that you guys need to know. And then, of course, Deshaun Singleton, I've been telling you guys all offseason, he's the best player on this defense. And there's a reason why he's attending and not some of these other guys. And then Marcus Buford as well. So definitely interesting there. A couple other things I want to get to before we start talking about. I want to get to recruiting in a little bit. We got to talk recruiting. And then we'll talk about fall camp, and then we'll get to your questions, of course, your comments. But I thought it was interesting. Kirk Cinetti had a little bit of a comment today. So, of course, he dropped his game against Virginia for next year and the year after that. Indiana, they just have a very easy non-conference schedule. It's a joke. It's about as easy as we have going for us. And he was asked about it, and he said, and I quote, "Well, I thought we'd just adopt the SEC scheduling philosophy," and that went absolutely viral. So, I mean, Kirk Cinetti, I love that guy, man. Like, obviously, after he beat Nebraska, he talked a lot of crap about us, but I can respect a guy who goes to a program, talks crap before he wins, and then backs it up and does the exact same thing. Like, if you're talking crap at Indiana before you win and then you go and actually do it, I can respect you. And that's what Kirk Cinetti does. So, he backs up his talk. And, for him to go out there and kind of take a shot at the SEC, I'm all for it. I'm all for him to take a shot at the SEC. They play 8 conference games, not 9. And usually those 4 non-cons they play are against easy teams. They play, we'll see, I'll just throw an example. We'll see Alabama play Georgia Southern, and they'll play the Citadel, and they'll play Furman, and then maybe they'll play one easier Power 4 conference team. Like this year, they're playing Wisconsin, who's not going to be very good. So I thought that was interesting. That Kirk Cinetti said that. I'm all for it. Like, I need the SEC. They need to go to 9 conference games. I think they will. I think part of the agreement when we go to the new college football playoff format, which is happening soon, probably next year when we're going to 16 games, is that the SEC, they're going to have to play 9 conference games instead of 8. So I think that's going to happen very, very soon. All right, before we talk about fall camp, because we have a lot to get into about that, let's talk about recruiting really quick, because I had a video that was released talking recruiting today, and once again, got a lot of pushback. I just want to address this. Like, I tweeted this out earlier today. I can't win on YouTube, right? It's either I'm hyping up the recruiting class and I'm very excited about it, and people say, "Wilson, you're drinking the Kool-Aid too much. It never lives up to be that case." Or I show you guys some legit concerns I have about this recruiting class, which are absolutely legit. And people will say, Wilson, you're overreacting. You have to trust the coaching staff. Like, you can't have it both ways. And right now, like, the reason why you guys follow the channel, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm an optimistic guy at heart. I hope you guys know that. Like, you're going to see that in my deep dive and my record prediction, which are coming out this Saturday, next Saturday. Like, you'll see, I'm a very optimistic guy. I always believe in this program. But we have to always look at things objectively here. We have to look at things objectively when we talk recruiting. And objectively, like, we just haven't done very good in this class, to be honest with you. Like, we're 67th in America. And again, I'll just run down, like, I like the class. I do like some of the guys we have here. But again, missing on Valensoni was something you couldn't do. You couldn't lose on Valensoni. You couldn't miss a guy like Devin Jackson. They put a lot of time and effort to. Calvin Thomas was obviously a big miss. So yes, is Nebraska taking a smaller class? Absolutely they are. But that doesn't mean that you can't get some of your top prospects. Honestly, the fact that we're taking a smaller class should indicate that we're spending a little bit more money per prospect, and we really haven't done that. So I am disappointed with this class, especially with, 1 year ago, last offseason, I was hyping up this 26 class. I thought it was going to be very good. We missed out on some of our top guys. We missed out on Mikhail Blade, Titan Davis, Malachi Lee on the offensive line, Jabari Brady at the wide receiver spot, Devin Walker, Brian Bonner, just to name a few, right? So objectively, it is a little interesting. Well, okay, hold on. I got a comment here. Nebraska just got an RPM for Ben Mooser from Giants Only. Who is Ben Mooser? Is he a long snapper? Hold on. Who is Ben Mooser? We got an RPM for him. Is that breaking news? Hold on. According to Giants Only in my comment section. Oh, we did. Okay. We just got an RPM for a 4-star 2027 quarterback. Hold on. I gotta fact check this really quick, guys. That is really random. Hold on. Giants Only put that in the comment section. We just got a crystal ball for a quarterback in the class. And he set a commitment date. No, that doesn't make any sense. I think that's a glitch. This has to be a glitch, right? Okay. I think this is a glitch in the system because I just looked this guy's situation. I've never heard of this quarterback prospect before. I want to make that very clear. So he's a 4-star quarterback in the class of 27. So I'm thinking to myself, like, why in the world would we take another quarterback? We just took Trey Taylor. I think this is a glitch in the system, though, because I looked up his situation, and he said he's committing on July 31st, but he's down to Virginia Tech, Vanderbilt, Purdue, and Cincinnati. So I think this is a glitch. This has to be a glitch, right? Is this not? He's never been linked to Nebraska. Yeah. It has to be a glitch, is what I would say there. Who put in the crystal ball? Who put in the crystal ball? I don't. All right. I don't know what just happened there. That was interesting. So again, we just got a crystal ball for a 4-star quarterback in the class of 2027, but I think it was a glitch. I think they meant to put it in for another school. Like, that's the only explanation. Maybe it is legit. I don't know. I need to get more clarification on that, man. I can't be figuring that out when I'm going live. So that was interesting, but that segues us to the 27 class. Like, again, the 27 class is definitely going to be interesting for Nebraska. And my mindset, honestly, with the 26 class at this point, like, objectively isn't very good, but it's just survive. Like, win this season. Maybe you can flip a couple guys at the end of the year, whether it's a Jordan Campbell, Cameron Wilson, maybe Cameron Hamel here and there. Okay, and then you'll have a decent class. Maybe it won't even probably be top 20, top 30, but maybe you can just survive, have a decent, semi-decent 26 class. But then if you potentially win 9-10 games, you're setting yourself up for a 27 cycle, which is going to be incredible. And I'm telling you this, while we're taking the small class this year, in the 26 class, while it's going to be objectively very small, the 27 class is not going to be that way. The 27 class is going to be very similar to what you're seeing around the country right now. With most programs are taking 30-plus commits. Nebraska's not doing that. But next year with the 27 class, Nebraska, they will take around 30. It'll be 25, 26, 27, 30, right? It'll be a lot of commits. So it's all about winning this year, survive the 26 class, and hopefully we can get a good class in 2027. But I'll say this forever, right? Like, people will always comment on my videos to say the portal is more important. The portal, I would much rather get players in the portal than get guys in high school recruiting. And I just don't think people understand. As a successful program, as a successful program, you have got to get players in high school recruiting at every position. You can't like not recruit a certain position. I got this comment today from somebody. They said, Wilson, I would much rather take defensive linemen from the portal than get guys in high school recruiting. They're more ready-made in the portal. You're not wrong, but you're going to be wasting a lot of money in the portal doing that, like 5 times more money. Why wouldn't you just get somebody in high school recruiting who you can develop and will stick around, and you're going to pay a lot less? So again, you guys got to get every position in high school recruiting. It's the same deal in the NFL. You build your team to the draft, not free agency. I just think it's interesting coming from a lot of Nebraska fans, because that's the Deion Sanders mindset. Like, I think a lot of Nebraska fans, they don't want to admit it, but they're starting to become Deion Sanders fans, because Deion Sanders, what he's doing in Colorado is building through the portal and not high school recruiting. That's what a lot of Nebraska fans are starting to want, clearly. And I'm like, no, we got to build through high school recruiting. We just got to supplement through the portal. So wanted to give you guys that update. But let me know your thoughts on the 26th class. Like, are you concerned? Are you trusting the coaching staff? And I do trust the coaching staff, but we also have to agree. We all have to come together, no matter how pessimistic or optimistic you are, that the coaching staff isn't perfect and they make mistakes and they miss out on prospects. Like, I guarantee you the coaching staff, they wanted to land Valdon Sony. I guarantee you the coaching staff, they wanted to land Devin Jackson. Okay. So this is not by design. We're not struggling because the coaching staff just decided to do so. The coaching staff objectively missed out on some prospects they wanted. So you can trust the coaching staff, but also acknowledge that they aren't perfect and they have missed out on some prospects. Okay. And it's just what happens while we do this, right? So it just comes down to winning, and it comes down to our NIL. And then hopefully the rest will figure itself out. But I'll tell you guys this, and I've been very consistent about this take. If you lose this season, and this is why this is the most important season in a long time for Nebraska football, it is almost the end, right? Like, you have a very short leash nowadays in college football, very short leash. You either got it or don't got it. And if Matt Rhule goes out there and wins 6 games this year and makes the Pinstripe Bowl again, what do you think the 27 class is going to look like? Frankly, like, what do you think it's going to look like? Do you think it's going to be very good? Because it's really not going to be very good. It's probably going to be just as good as what we got in the 26 class, which is not solid. So I saw that to say this: if you want a solid 27 class, I know it looks great now. We'll talk about that on Friday. You just got to win, and you got to have NIL money to back it up. Even if you do, and let's even say we win 10 games, but you don't have good NIL money, we're still not going to land a good class. You got to have both. You can't just have one. You got to have both. Winning and NIL money, that's the most important thing at the end of the day. Nebraska got to figure it out. They got to figure it out, and they got to go all in on the 27 class, because you got to get good recruits. At the end of the day, getting these hidden gems, developing at a high level, that's awesome. Developing is still a part of the sport, but I would much rather take good recruits, because nowadays, even if you do develop a good player, you take a 3-star and make him a 5-star, he's just going to transfer out anyway, so might as well just get good recruits to back him up. So it is what it is. But wanted to give you guys that update around the 26 class. All right, let's get to the comment section. Start putting your questions in the comment section, the things you're thinking about. Then we'll start talking about fall camp, a couple of other things going around with Nebraska football. But let's just get into the comment section. I'll see what you guys have to say here. Okay, I got to scroll back here. Oh my goodness, you guys. I want to get to my man Lukiji. What is up, Lukiji? Hope you're having a good night. He says Signetti is annoying though. He's at Indiana. He's not an elite program, but I do hate the SEC, and I hope Petiti holds strong on this AQ play-in model. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I don't know if he is annoying. Like, he is, but I respect the talk. I respect if you're gonna talk your talk and you're gonna talk crap, back it up. And for him to do that at Indiana, which is historically a terrible program, and to back it up and make the college football playoff, man, that says a lot. That says a lot. So I'm definitely a big fan of Kirk Signetti, though, because of what he did. So, but I don't like that he's always disrespecting Nebraska. That's not my favorite thing. Nathan Johnson said, would we make the playoffs if we won 10 games and lost to Penn State and Minnesota? It's tough. It's tough. I would say it depends on how good Michigan and USC are. If Michigan and USC are ranked teams, like let's say Michigan's maybe the top 10 team in the country when we play them, and maybe USC's top 20, then yes, I think we would, because we have a good enough resume. But if USC doesn't turn out to be any good, or if Michigan's not very good either, then no, because we were not playing anybody worth anything, right? And we're in the same boat as maybe a Miami from last year. We're in the same boat maybe as a Alabama from last year. So yeah, I think in order to make the college football playoffs, you gotta definitely beat Michigan. I think you probably got to go 11-1, or you got to beat Penn State in some aspect and go 10-2. So that's interesting. Good to have, but after Trey, he will transfer. Well, good thing. I think it was a glitch. Trey Taylor is not going anywhere. Trey Taylor's locked in. Trey Taylor is absolutely locked in. Are you worried about the left tackle candidate when he showed the best stats on the right side? Oh, I'm absolutely worried about Elijah Pritchett. I mean, no question about it. no question about it. Like Elijah Pritchett, gosh, I mean, he's about as big of a question mark as it gets. And I would love it if we had a legit battle. I mean, that's what I thought was interesting. I forgot to mention this. So Matt Rule said, of course, earlier that when he's thinking about and he's making this depth chart, that NIL has nothing to do with it. It's all about production. Well, Matt Rule, that's not exactly true. That's not exactly true because Elijah Pritchett is our bona fide left tackle and there's no battle there. Okay. And Elijah Pritchett was not very good at Alabama. Like if we were a decent program, we probably would be having a battle there at left tackle. But the reason why he's our guy is because we paid him over $1 million. Simply put, we can't afford to have him not play. Like we paid him so much money, he's got to get on the field. So that, I am worried about it. And I would rather have him at right tackle. But when you pay a guy that much, you don't pay right tackles $1 million because they're not as important as left tackles. So you got to put him at the left tackle spot. Hopefully he develops himself. Like this is Donovan Raiola's big moment. This is Donovan Raiola's big moment as a coach. If he needs to prove himself more to this fan base as a developer, this is where he does it, right? Prove to Nebraska fans, Donnie, that you're that guy, that you can actually bring the best out of these players and make them, from busts to better. This is where it all begins. So hopefully Don Raiola can prove some people wrong, but I definitely am worried about Elijah Pritchett. I'm worried about right tackle too. Like again, I feel great about the interior line. Like I think Lateef's going to be great. Justin Evans is going to be great. Larko Spindler's going to be great. The interior line's the best it's been in like a decade. Like the interior's great. But both tackle spots are huge question marks with Pritchett. And then right tackle, like Tyler Knack, if he were to be a right tackle starter, I don't love that. I think Teddy's probably better when healthy. Gunnar Gatula is probably better too. So both those tackle spots are question marks. And that's just, I would prefer if they weren't question marks because we tried to address that in the portal. Like we tried to get Isaiah World in the portal. Didn't work out. We tried to get, what was that? We tried to get the, who was the Polynesian? He was from Washington State. Falili Famoa, I believe. We tried to get him. He went to Wake Forest. Like, he was really good. We tried to get Shias P. He went over to Kentucky. So we tried to address tackle in the portal. We kind of just missed out on all of our top prospects. So we kind of had to overbid for Elijah Pritchett just to make sure we got somebody. Yeah. So definitely, I wish that we didn't have this issue at tackle and we didn't have this much concern. But that is my answer to that. Are you worried about our defense this year? Young defensive line not proven secondary. I'm frankly just worried about the D-line. Like, I feel great about the linebacker core. Like, there's no reason for me to feel like this linebacker core is bad. Like, we have talent over there. We have great jack play. We have phenomenal middle linebackers in Buda Wright, Vincent Shavers, Marquez Watson Trent. So the linebacker core is going to be good. I think the secondary is solid. Like, you have a great mix of young talent and veterans there. And we have a brand new positional coach in Aston Williams who doesn't care. So if Malcolm Hartzog, while he's a veteran, and we've seen this in the past in Nebraska where we'll have veteran players, but they'll just start because they've been here for a long time. And Matt Rule or Scott Frost feels like he owes them, to play them. That's not going to happen with Addison Williams. Addison Williams is going to play the most talented guy. So if Malcolm Hartzog's out there stinking it up, Mario Beaver's going to get his spot. Or Larry Tarver's going to get his spot. So I think the secondary is very talented. I feel great about that. Now, as for the defensive line, that is the big question mark. What's going on with the defensive line? Because frankly, I just don't know how talented it is from a starter standpoint. I don't know how talented it is. I think that's what I would tell you. Because do you feel okay about Keona Davis? You feel maybe decent about Cameron Lenhard. While he didn't play good last year, you still feel like he can maybe break out. Ryan Van Poppel, there's a lot of expectations there. But Williams Nwaneri is a big question mark. How good is Elijah Judy actually going to be? Because he's been good, not great. And then the depth after that, I mean, there's just a bunch of guys who really haven't produced, right? Jalen George hasn't played in the Big Ten before. Jordan Ashoa hasn't really, he's going to his second year. Got some freshmen in there. So the defensive line, I think, is a big issue. And this is where Terry Brown's got to prove himself. Like, I've already accepted the fact that Terry Brown's not very good as a recruiter, at least not yet. I've accepted that. But the reason why we hired him is because we thought he was going to be one of the better developers in college football. Obviously, we haven't seen that yet because he's only been here for a couple months, but this is where he kind of proves himself. Says, okay, like he has a lot to work with, but we will see. Wilson, there are 7 starters on that D-line. Yeah, but I don't think any of the 7 starters you might think are very like bona fide good. People said the same thing with the running back core last year. People said, well, there are 4 quality running backs in that room who could start. That means the running back room is really loaded. That's not what I think. Okay, if you think that there are 5 or 6 or 7 quality or people, defensive linemen who could start on this team, in my opinion, that means that it's just not very talented. That there's a reason why there's that many people competing for it, because there's not too many guys at the very top who are just bona fide starters. That's a worse thing than it is a good thing, in my opinion. I hope that makes sense. And I just don't agree with you that there are 7 stars on the D line. I think there are 4 stars on the D line. I think it's RVP, Cameron Lenhart, Keanu Davis, Elijah Judy. I don't think Williams is there yet to start. Jalen George is definitely not there to get to start. And then after that, I mean, definitely nobody else besides that. So that's what I would say. That's what I would say. A 10-2 Big Ten team would 100% make the playoffs. I don't agree with that, Sam, simply because 2 10-2 SEC teams did not make the playoffs last year. And we know that community is biased toward the SEC. So if 2 10-2 SEC teams did not make the playoffs last year, what do you think they're going to do to a 10-2 Big Ten team? Right. Especially one that's not playing the easiest or not playing the hardest schedule in the world. Like Ohio State made it at 10-2 last year, or they were 10-2. Ohio State was 10-2, and they made the playoffs. But the reason why they made the playoffs is because they played a super hard schedule. Like they played Oregon, they played Michigan, they played Penn State in there. That's the reason why they made the playoffs, because they played hard teams. Nebraska, if we were 10-2, we're basically around that 12 spot. We don't have a good enough schedule to get us over the top. So that's why in my opinion, it's either you go 10-2 and beat Penn State. Like that's probably the only route for us to make the playoffs, is we got to beat Penn State, or we got to beat Michigan and USC and hope that they're ranked really high. You got to have as good of a resume as possible. And unfortunately, it's a great thing that our schedule is easy, but it kind of will bite us in the butt if we're trying to make the playoffs, just because I don't know if our schedule is hard enough to get that nod at the 12 or 10 or 11 spot. So that's my answer to that question. Also, make sure to hit that like button on the stream. We're at 32 likes right now. Let's get up to 50. Let's get up to 50 likes. Hit that like button on the stream. Let's see. Teddy is left side. Dang numbit. Yeah, I agree. Teddy's a better left tackle than he is right tackle. And Elijah Pritchard's a better right tackle than he is left tackle. Like it's completely flip-flopped. But see how NIL messes everything up? Isn't this a great example of how NIL messes everything up? We paid this guy so much money. We have to force him to be our left tackle. I have a bad feeling that we're going to sit here after the Michigan game, going into the bye week, and everybody's just saying bench Elijah Pritchard or moving to right tackle because he's just stinking it up like we kind of are expecting. And again, he's such a specimen. He's so exciting as a prospect. It's just because you look the part doesn't mean you're actually a good football player. We've seen this all the time. Like it's the same. Like we've seen really skinny, scrawny players in Nebraska over the past 40 years be really good. Like when Trev Alberts got on campus, when he was coming in from Iowa a long time ago, he was a scrawny linebacker, turned out to be one of the better linebackers in the history of Nebraska football. Okay, we've seen that from player time and time again. Doesn't matter how big or athletic you are, you can be really good. Or if you are super athletic, doesn't mean you're going to be a good player on the football field, right? Like those two are not usually as correlated as you might think. So, how many do we lose in 14 games? 14 games this year? Are we playing 14? I don't think we're playing 14 games. I think we're going to play 13 games this year. What do you expect of Williams-Nwaneri this year? Could he start by the end of the season? I don't know if he'll start this year. Yeah, I don't think he's going to start this year. My expectations for Williams-Nwaneri is to be a third down pass rusher. So third down, long second down, he's in the game getting the quarterback because that's his strong suit. His strong suit is to use his athleticism, to use his swim move, and get after Big Ten quarterbacks. Okay, I don't know how strong he is in the run stopping standpoint. And I don't know how strong he is from a weight standpoint as well to actually be that 3 technique that we really want him to be. So I think Williams-Nwaneri is going to be very solid. He's going to be basically his role is going to be James Williams from last year. That's going to be his role. Is what James Williams did last year, where you put James in on a third down and he'll get to the quarterback at a pretty good rate, right? That's what you're going to see from Williams-Nwaneri, and that's a huge upgrade from what we had from James last year. So he's going to get on the field a lot. Like we rotate 7 defensive linemen a game. Like he'll be in the game a lot, but he won't start. Is my expectation. But I agree with Ko here. He'll play about 15 snaps a game. Yep, that I think is absolutely pretty accurate. What's going to change for us this year? What's the biggest 3 changes that we have made? Well, I mean, number one's pretty evident. Well, actually, I'd say the first two are pretty evident. I mean, we have brand new coaches everywhere. So the team is going to look completely different in pretty much every single aspect. The offense is going to look completely different. Is it going to be an air raid offense under Dana Holgorsen? No, it will not be. It will not be an air raid, but it's going to be pass first. We know how he does it. Daniel Holgorsen has never been a run first guy. That's not going to suddenly change this year. We know what Daniel Holgorsen likes to do, and he has all the toys at his disposal. He has Dylan Raiola. He has all these receivers. If you need to know what this offense is going to look like, just go back to our philosophy in the portal this year. We refuse to pay any running backs any money. Okay, like I'll tell you guys the scoop here. Emmett Johnson entered the portal. We paid him $300K, which is great, but he probably could have got a lot more from other schools, but he wanted to be at Nebraska, so he took that money and came back. Dante Dowdell was going to stay at Nebraska, but he was tampered with by Kentucky. Kentucky tampered with them, said, hey, we're going to pay you this amount of money, enter the portal. Nebraska was given an opportunity to counter, and Nebraska didn't do it. They just said, you know what, we don't value running backs that much. We're not going to pay you that much. You can go over to Kentucky. He literally can transfer to Kentucky like 3 days later, right? We had an opportunity to get Shamar Brown. Didn't do it because we weren't willing to pay him as much as Miami or Cal. So that tells you everything you need to know in Daniel Holgorsen's offense. We don't value putting up money in the running back room. We did value putting up a lot of money in the receiver room. That kind of tells you a lot. Like, it's going to be a pass-first offense. It's going to be 55%. It's going to be RPOs, quick passes, slants, screens, and that's a good thing, right? I want to see this offense be a little bit more explosive. So that's the first change. The offense is going to be a lot better in pretty much every single aspect. I'd expect, at least. The special team should be a lot improved than our Mike Eckler. Should be, at least from a return standpoint. Maybe not actually kicking the ball through the uprights. We'll talk about that at a later day. And then I'd say the third change. I just think, honestly, like, this year is the year where we start to show ourselves as being more talented. Like, we're always a talented team, it feels like, but it doesn't really show up on game days. I think this year, when we're playing against, like, these middling squads, like a Northwestern, like a UCLA, like, we're going to show why we're the better team. It's not going to be a close game anymore. Like, we're going to start blowing these people out. It's going to be very clear to people around the country that Dylan Raiola is very talented, that our receiver room is very talented. Like, it's one thing to be talented on paper and have all these 4-stars, but for them not to actually show up on game day. I think this year it's actually going to show up where we do have talent in the secondary and it shows up. We do have talent at quarterback and it's going to show up and it's going to win us some of these close games and we're going to blow out a lot of teams in more aspects. So I think there's just a lot of things that are going to be a lot better this year. I think we're going to be a better team in a lot of situations. You're supposed to have a higher ranked 5-star quarterback than Dylan on that D line. What's going on with that guy? What's going on with Williams? Well, I mean, he's still raw, right? He's still raw, so he'll be fine. I don't think he was higher rated than Dylan. I think Dylan was 1, Williams was like 5. So I mean, they're really good prospects. But it's defensive line's a different position. It takes time, no matter how good of a prospect you are. Like, we've seen a lot of defensive linemen in the past who are top 100 recruits, like JT, who was the Ohio State one who just went to the draft. Well, Jack Sawyer was one, and it was JT Tuamaloa, and both those guys were 5-star prospects, and they did not really play in the first couple of years. So it's different at D-line. Like, even though you're a 5-star doesn't mean you're going to play immediately, because it does take time to develop yourself, especially your body. Do we think Nebraska ain't getting a big class this year because they're going to spend a lot of money on the 27 class? Well, absolutely, they're spending a lot of money on the 27 class, but I mean, they should have spent money on this class too, right? Like, you can't just take offs. You can't take a class off. You can't say, well, we're going to go all in on the 27 class. We're just not going to take anybody in the 26 class. You just can't really do that. You got to go all in on every single class because every single class matters at the end of the day. So, yes, are we going to spend a lot of money in 27? We will, but hopefully we would do that in 26 too, and we really haven't. So, I don't know, but I don't have all the answers for that. Is it crazy to think that we're just going to score 30 a game with Dana? I think that's valid. I think it could happen. I think it could happen. Maybe a little bit less. Like, 30 is pretty lofty. I'd say about 25, 26, 27, right? Like, this offense is going to be good. It's going to be explosive. But we do play some tough defenses this year. We do. Like, we play Iowa, tough defense. Penn State, Michigan, Minnesota had a top 10 defense last year. People don't talk about it. Cincinnati has actually a sneaky good defense. So we play some good defenses. So it'll be a challenge, but I do think that's possible. Who are our top 2 punt returners and what's going on with place kicking? Our top 2 punt returners, Jacory, Barney. I think Andrew Marshall is going to be the second one. I think so. It's going to be bad. We'll talk about it probably a week. I have a video coming out about it. And then place kicking, I think it'll probably be John Holigan. This is my expectation, but it'll be a battle between him and Kyle Keenan. I don't expect Alvon to play this year. I do not. Which one of our kickers will transfer by the August 8th deadline? Probably none of them. But I just don't know why Tristan Vaughn is sticking around. Like, that's my opinion. I don't know why he's still here. Like, you're not going to play here, man. Like, You're constantly injured. You have no confidence. Yeah, you have a big leg, but I just don't know why Tristan Vaughn is sticking around. Like, if I were him, I'd just transfer, go to Iowa State, go to Tulane, I don't know, wherever, right? Toledo. Go be your starting kicker over there, and maybe have a good career, and maybe go to the NFL, rather than sitting on the bench in Nebraska. Like, kicker is one of those battles where you know what you have at kicker pretty easily. Like, after your freshman, sophomore year, you got or you don't. There's no development at kicker. It's not like you have a hidden gem who's been developing for 3 years and breaks out his senior campaign. That just doesn't really happen at kicker. Like, you know what you got at kicker pretty instantly the second they get on campus. Okay, so we know what Tristan Vaughn is. Like, he's a big leg, but he is actually sucks and he's always injured. So it's just like, I just don't really expect that to change. Chances on losing week 1, 25%, probably 30%. Like, there's a chance. I mean, we have lost, 5 straight games against Power 4 opponents in our season opener. We lost against Minnesota, Northwestern, Illinois, Ohio State, Colorado, right? The last 5 Power 4 opponents that we've played in season openers, we've lost that game. And a lot of times those are against bad opponents, whether it was a Colorado or a Northwestern. So there definitely is a chance that we lose against Cincinnati. But our hope is that Matt Rhule is a good coach and a good game planner, and talent on his team is too good for us to even lose. I think we're going to blow them out, personally. Who wins the single-digit prediction? Yeah, I'm going to release that video. My single-digit prediction, it will probably be, I think it's in 2 weeks. I think it's in 2 weeks is when I'm going to post that video. So watch out for that. That'll be in 2 weeks. I'll predict who's going on, who will have single digits. How many players are up for grabs this year? Because usually they roll over the same ones from last year. How many single digits are even available? Because I'm trying to roll through it in my head right now. I know Vincent Shavers has a single digit. He didn't really earn one just because he traded with Jamari Butler, but I know he has one right now. Deshaun Singleton, Marcus Buford, Malcolm Hartzog, that's 4. Is that it? Are those the other only single digits left on the team? I think that's it. So I think 6 are up for grabs. What is it? Yeah, that'll be interesting. Who gets that? Watch out for that video, though. I want to know your guys' predictions. Who do you guys think? I want to know. It seemed like Matt Rhule was saying that we weren't talented the last 2 years. Again, I just don't agree with that. Like, we were talented the last 2 years. We had 4 stars and 5 stars all over this roster. I thought we were very talented last year. The problem is we have a really bad tendency as a program to have a lot of talent, and then these players really never live up to the expectations that we set for them. Like, that's really the problem. It's not our talent level, it's our development, it's our execution. So I don't agree with Matt Rhule saying that I don't agree with Matt Rhule saying that we're not talented. And that's the reason why we lose close games. Like, we lose close games simply because when we're in these close games in the fourth quarter, you look at the sideline and the body language is awful. You know we're going to lose because nobody has confidence. And we'll see these quarterbacks, these running backs in this past 10 years in Nebraska, they'll have their heads down. Like, they know it's over. But when we're up, when one thing goes our way wrong, we lose. Okay. You go to last year, right? We did not win a single close game last year. Maybe Boston College. Every single game we won last year, we were blown out team from the start. When we were not blowing out a team from the start and we faced a little bit of adversity, we lost the game. That's one thing that I'm very frustrated with under Matt Rhule, is because we had a losing culture last year still. The only games we won, we were blown out teams from the start. Wisconsin, that was that way. Colorado, it was that way. All of the other openers. Purdue was not that way. We were 0-0 at halftime, but Purdue sucks. So, and we still beat them by double digits. Rutgers, I think we were up 14-0 at half. So, yeah, that's the thing with Matt Rhule, is that we don't win close games with them still, and that needs to change this year. So, I do want to show you guys a statistic, and I was researching this the other day. If you follow me on Twitter, you've already seen this. Hide your eyes, because I want to preface before I show you guys this statistic. I want to preface by saying I have no agenda here. I'm a Matt Rhule truther. You guys know that. I believe that Matt Rhule is going to bring us back to stability, 10, 11 wins per year. Maybe not national championships, but bringing us back to consistency. But when I was researching something for my deep dive, which will be posted this Saturday at 10 o'clock Central, I found this just statistic that I could not get over. I've been thinking about it ever since. Okay, ready to see this? I don't know if you guys are ready to see this. I don't know if you guys are ready to have a tough conversation. I don't know if I wanted to bring this up in a video because I know I get some crazy comments. Usually the comments are a little better in the live chat, but I just want to show you this. All right, let's get to it. Here we go. Read what you see on your screen. I'll just read it out for you. Nebraska fans, look away. I just found this crazy statistic. Husker coaches Big Ten winning percentage. Matt Rule, in his first 2 seasons, has a winning percentage of 33%. Scott Frost, in his first 3 seasons, had a winning percentage of 35%. Just sit with that for a second. Isn't that crazy? Is that not crazy to anybody else? That Scott Frost actually in his first couple seasons with Nebraska had more success in the Big Ten than Matt Rule. And I did get this comment. Again, I want to make sure I have no agenda. I just thought it was interesting. We need to have a conversation about this because I wanted to hear your guys' opinion. And then I got this comment from my man Husker News. He said, well, the Big Ten West was a thing then, so we probably would have played easier opponents. I did a little bit of digging on that, and I said, and I found this: Matt Rule or Scott Frost actually played harder opponents in those wins. The teams that he won in the first 3 years actually had a winning percentage of 40%. The teams that we've beat so far under Matt Rule have a winning percentage of 37%. So I just thought that was like really interesting. I mean, that's honestly, I think that's kind of a wake up call. Like, yes, we've been successful I thought we were successful last year a little bit, not like wildly successful, but it was a nice step in the right direction. But we still struggle in the Big Ten. We won 3 games in the Big Ten this year. We won 3 games in the Big Ten in 2023. The only difference, honestly, like we act like this year 2 under Matt Rule is this huge jump, which I don't know if I'm necessarily buying, to be honest with you. The only thing that really changed in year 1 to year 2 with Matt Rule was we beat Colorado. Everything else was the exact same. We won 3 conference games. We lost 6 of them. The only thing that was different was we beat Colorado instead of losing to them. And we lost 5 of our last 6, which people always forget about. So I just thought that was interesting. I want to hear your guys' comments on that. It just sets up for a big year. Like, this is the year got to prove himself because, man, like, that's honestly, like, I think a lot of times we just forget about that. We forget about the fact that we were not very good last year in the Big Ten. We forget about that we did go on a huge losing streak. So I think especially right now when we're all drinking the Kool-Aid, including myself, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, you better believe me. I think it's good to have a little bit of a step back and say, okay, we have to look back on last season. We have to remember what we did poorly in order to fully evaluate the season from an objective standpoint rather than through our red glasses, right, when we're drinking the Kool-Aid. So, yeah, I mean, it's imperative that Matt Rule has better success against these Big Ten opponents, right? The teams that we're supposed to beat. Like, we need to beat Northwestern this year. We need to beat UCLA this year. We need to beat Michigan State this year. And I always say it's one thing to get the big wins in the Big Ten. It's one thing to do that. It's one thing to beat Michigan or Penn State. That's awesome. But that shouldn't be the objective. That shouldn't be the goal. The goal from a Nebraska standpoint should be every single game that you're favored, go out there and execute and cover the spread and win. Honestly, like dominate. That should be the goal. That should be the expectation. Okay, rather than, I think a lot of Nebraska fans just get caught up in these big games every offseason. Oh, we should beat Penn State. Like, I'm not even thinking about Penn State. Like, we're going to lose that football game more likely than not. I don't care. We shouldn't win that game yet. I don't think we're good enough to beat Penn State. Winning or losing against Penn State doesn't define how good the season is. This season will be defined based on the games that aren't as hyped up. The games that aren't on national television, the games that maybe on paper we should win, but we tend to lose in the past. That's how the season will be defined. So we got to have more success in the Big Ten. We got to start off 3-0. We got to beat Cincinnati. we're gonna win the other 2, no question about it. And then you got to start getting hot. And we're hoping that because of the fact that maybe Matt Rule isn't the best game plan in the world, we're hoping that Dana Holgorsen can fill that gap, or we're hoping that a John Butler can fill that gap, or a Phil Snow can fill that gap. So I have a lot of optimism about this year, but I mean, I was just researching that the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was shook. I was like, there's no way we consider Scott Frost to be the worst coach in the history of Nebraska football, but the fact that he has a better Big Ten winning percentage than Matt Rule is, I literally, my jaw hit the floor. So I just kind of want to share that with you guys because I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was interesting to say the least. Jake says he's not tripping. I ain't tripping about it either, honestly. I'm not tripping about it, but I thought it was interesting. That's all I'm going to say. I thought it was very, very, very interesting. If our defense is not good this year, fire Butler and hire Bo. Dude, Bo Pelini will never step foot in Nebraska ever again. He hates this state. I don't know what we do with these. See, Nebraska fans, we claim we're this great fan base and we're so nice to our coaches. We're really not, because every single coach we've had the last like 2 decades, when we fire them, they never come back. Like, Bo Pelini has said multiple times, he's never going to come back here. Or Scott Frost moved away the second he could. Mike Riley, if Mike Riley would come back, we're chill with Mike Riley, even though he was not a good coach. We're chill with Mike Riley. Brian Callahan, or not, oh my gosh, Brian Callahan. Like, if he were to come back here, why did I say Brian Callahan? I think it's because I know a Brian Callahan. Bill Callahan. Bill Callahan ever came back here, he would not be welcome. Frank Solich did not step a foot in the state for like 20 years after he was fired. So Nebraska, we need to do a better job with these past coaches, make them feel a little bit more welcome. But Bo Pelini would never come back here. I saw that say that. If we don't win 8 games this year, Matt Rhule should be on the hot seat. Hot seat. I would just tell you this. I'd be very disappointed. I would be very disappointed if we did not win 8 games this year, because that's not a jump in my opinion at all. That's not a jump. That's a marginal improvement. That's barely improving. Like, for the talent level of this team to take a huge jump objectively, the talent's way better than last year. For the coaching staff to take a huge jump objectively, and for us to only take a jump by 1 win, that would be a huge disappointment, and that would not result in a good 27 class. That would not result in a good transfer class. So you gotta win at least. You gotta win at least 9, in my opinion. I think anything less than 9, if you go 8-4, that's not a big success. You gotta win 9. You gotta win 9. Gotta win 9. It sounds nice in theory, yes, but I was one of the few who liked his coaching mentality. These kids are professionally paid now. I don't know what you're referring to, but yeah, what are you referring to specifically? What Dylan is saying is our future depends on Dylan's performance and Dane staying. You're right. I mean, this year in particular, it's all on Dylan. If Dylan plays bad in a certain game, we're not going to win, because the offense is oriented around him more than any other player. Okay, or if Dylan's having a great game, he's out there throwing for 300 yards, not throwing an interception, I'd see it's going to be very hard for us to lose. So this season really is going to come down to Dylan's playing alone. Like, if he's a top 10 quarterback, we might be a top 10 team. If he's struggling like last year, it's not a top 25 quarterback, we might, sneak into a bowl game at 6-6 or 7-5. So it's really going to depend on Dylan more than any other. I think this team wins 7 or 8 this year. People saying 10 are crazy to me. I see how you get it, but that would be a huge jump in 1 year. I just don't agree. Well, okay. First off, I agree with your mentality that, okay, you can have your opinion that we're only going to win 7, 8 games. That's fine. But as for the last thing that you said, as for that you think that that would be a huge jump in only 1 year, I don't agree with that. Because nowadays in college football, you see these crazy jumps nowadays, where a team will be taken over in 1 or 2 years and they'll go from 4 wins to 10 wins. Okay, it's not that crazy anymore in college football to rebuild a team in a year or 2, or to jump from 6 wins to 10 wins. It's not as crazy as you would think, because in the portal you can do crazy things overnight. Right? So I don't agree with that last mindset. But as for you thinking 7 or 8 wins, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. You can. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Like, I have my record prediction coming out in a couple of weeks. You guys will see that. It could be 8 wins. It could be 7 wins. You never know. It could be 11. You never know. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. If Dane Holgorsen left, who do you think would be our new offensive coordinator? It's tough. If we were to go with an inside hire, it would be Glenn Thomas. But my expectation is it'd be another outside hire. So I don't know. But if we were to get somebody who's currently with the team, it would be Glenn Thomas pretty easily. Are the days of me seeing slow, overweight linemen chasing down opponents, wide receivers, and running backs who are already 10 yards down the field, only to see corners and safeties have to track them down? Hopefully. I mean, hopefully this defensive line's talented enough to go track down these receivers and these running backs themselves. Like, I think Williams Neri is very talented enough to do that, or Keanu Davis is very talented enough to do that. So we'll see. I know from a linebacker standpoint, those days are over, because that was something that we saw too much in the Scott Frost era, where our linebackers were solid tacklers, like a Luke Reimer or Nick Heinrich, or you can just fill in the blank, right? We'd have all these linebackers who might have been, great walk-ons, great players on and off the field, but they just weren't talented. Like, they weren't super speedy. So when a running back's on a little stretch, going horizontally, going to the edge, Those linebackers couldn't catch up, and we'd have to have a safety come and lay the boom on him to make the tackle, right? Because the linebackers, if the play wasn't in the gap, the play wasn't through the tackles, the play wouldn't be made by the linebacker. So that's not going to happen anymore because Matt Rhule's made it a point of emphasis. He's going to bring in these Levante Davids, these Terrell Farleys, right? These guys who are incredibly talented to run 4.4s 40 times. So that's something that's absolutely going to take a huge jump this year that I'm excited to see. It was talking about needing the same mentality, Bo, if we brought Sue in. The kick you in the nuts to get it done mentality. I'm trying to think of what you're referring to. Sue, if we brought Sue in, the kick in the nuts to get it done mentality. I mean, okay, so I think you're just referring to, just the hard coaching of Bo Pelini. Like, he's gonna yell at you, he's gonna get in your face, but you gotta do whatever it takes to win. I don't hate that, but that's just never gonna happen with Matt Rhule because Matt Rhule's more of a player's coach more than anything. Bo Pelini was not a player's coach. I mean, you'll hear interviews nowadays and like Amir Abdullah, Kenny Bell, Will Compton, like he'll hype up Bo Pelini. They love Bo Pelini because he won, and that's gonna gain you respect. But Bo Pelini was not a player's coach. He's not somebody these players could go to, and talk and chat with and golf with, right? Like Matt Rhule does. So better for worse, right? Like Matt Rhule is very much a player's coach. He's never going to get in your face and yell at you. It's not what he does. And you can have your opinions about that. So, we didn't acquire enough talent over the offseason to gain 3 or 4 wins. I don't know if I agree with you. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, the quarterback plays improved. The receiver plays improved. The trenches are improved by a lot. Maybe not, but the trenches are improved. Linebackers improved. Secondary's improved. The coaching staff's improved. So, I don't necessarily agree with that. And also, it doesn't really matter about the other positions. It only matters about Dylan. Because unlike any other position, quarterback has the ability to win you football games with their play and their play alone. So if Dylan's out there slinging the rock and he's a top 10 quarterback in America, he's going to win us some games that maybe we have no business winning. So it really all depends on Dylan. We might not be approved from a running back standpoint, from an O-line standpoint, but if Dylan's out there balling out, and he's clutch, and he makes plays when it matters the most. In the fourth quarter, he's going to go out there and give us a touchdown with this great receiver core. Absolutely, we have the ability to win 10 games or 9 games or whatever you're looking for. So maybe not 12. Maybe not 12. Don't like seeing Rhule say that he's only had 2 jobs as a head coach, making tremendous relationships with players and recruiting. What? I don't get what you mean. I don't get what you mean there, Conservative Husker. Maybe I'll rephrase that. Don't like seeing Rhule's only had 2. I don't know what you mean. If we win 10, if we win 9 or 10 games this year, I think we have a top 10 27 class. I agree with you, but it also comes down to NIL. You could win 10 games this year, and I think it'll be, in order to get top 10 class, you need to win 10, not 9. You got to win 10. Probably got to make the playoffs. That's awesome. That's step 1. You got to have both. In order to have a top 10 27 class, you've got to have both winning and NIL. You can't just have winning. Okay, because if we only have winning, but we're not aggressive with our NIL, we're still going to get beat out by the same schools. We're still going to be beat out by Oregon for Devin Jackson. We're still going to be beat out by UNC for Calvin Thomas, because at the end of the day, the hard reality nowadays is most prospects care about the NIL cash more than they do winning. So they're more inclined to go to a Texas Tech to lose but make heck of money than come to Nebraska, be paid less, and maybe win more football games. So it is important for us to win, but it's also important for us to go out there and offer a lot of NIL and be competitive in that aspect as well. Got to do both, though. Got to do both. Brandon, explain to me how last year's calendar was that much harder. Law, both were easy. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, last year's schedule was really easy. We shouldn't have lost as many games as we did. We should have beat Iowa. Trying to remember who we played. We probably should have beat Indiana. We should have beat Illinois. We had an opportunity to beat Ohio State too. Like, we had an easy schedule both those years. Like, that's why I'm still holding off a little bit on this year, because yes, the schedule is easy, but we had an easy schedule last year too, and we didn't really make the most of it because we barely made a bowl game at 6-6. So it's important for us to actually take advantage of it this year. So. E-Money's going to surprise us in the receiving out of the backfield. I agree with you, man. I want to pull up this because I want to show you guys what I saw the other day about Emmett Johnson, because he just looks jacked, bro. I mean, he looks huge. Let's see if I can find this for you guys real quick. Emmett Johnson, I mean, he just looks jacked. Okay. So I saw this. This was earlier in the summer. Man, I mean, look at that bicep, right? That was back in June. And I saw something with him recently. with gosh, here he is. Okay, so this was recently. He was at the little event with Dylan Riley. He was doing something in high school. And look at those biceps, man. Look at those triceps, man. Yeah, he's doing some tricep pushdowns in the gym. You already know he is. He's doing those preacher curls. So Emmett Johnson, man, he's looking good. He's looking good. He's looking the best he ever has. But again, hopefully that actually translates on the field, and hopefully he's more of the main thing for Emmett, honestly, and this is something that nobody talks about. We know how elusive he is. I think he's gonna be better at catching the football. The main thing that I'm looking for Emmett Johnson, be better in the pass protection. That's the reason he didn't play with Satterfield. That's the reason Satterfield didn't like him that much, is because Emmett Johnson objectively was not that good in the pass pro. So Ramir Johnson would get those snaps on a third down, or a Gabe Irvin, or a Dante Dowdell, because all of which were better blockers. Emmett Johnson has been a liability in blocking at times. So I'm hoping that Emmett can be a better blocker, because that's really what's holding him back from maybe being the upper echelon running back that we're hoping he can be. And being maybe an every down back. So that's what I'm excited to see. Hopefully he can be a better blocker. And I'm just hoping this entire unit can be better blockers. Receivers got to be better blockers. Tight ends got to be better blockers. Offensive line obviously got to do their job. So we just got to be more physical as a team. That's something I've been disappointed with in the past, is I just don't think we're as physical as maybe, we're hyped up to be. We're just never as physical on tape, on offense or on defense. So Dylan, do you think the receivers got separation in man-to-man? I don't know if this. Why does this guy always call me Dylan? He's always calling me Dylan. Coach, my name's not Dylan, man. Do you think receivers got separation in man-to-man defense? We did not get separation last year. No, because simply we didn't have an athleticism at receiver. We had a lot of guys who were tall but not fast, and their technique was not good, simply because we didn't have a good receiver coach. Oh, I got a lot of respect for you, coach, but come on, my name is not Dylan, man. My name is not Dylan. What are we doing here? It's time for the special teams to take a huge jump. Ross, we're 100% on the same page. 100%. And especially the kicker battle. I mean, we got to have a kicker who, when we're inside the 30, when we're inside the red zone, we don't even have to sweat it. We know the ball's going through the uprights. We have not had that in this era so far. Back in the day when we were winning football games, you can go as far as the 90s, or you can even go with Bo Pelini. We never even had to think about special teams. It was never even a conversation, because every single year you knew was going to be good. Nobody was ever talking about it, because we knew what it was going to be. It was going to be solid. Only recently, when we started to lose football games, we started to realize that special teams really mattered a lot, because frankly, it just hasn't shown up. So it matters a lot more than a lot of people would give it credit for. And I miss the days that we never really had to talk about it, because it wasn't actually a point of emphasis. It wasn't a point of concern. Do you think Trey Taylor could start as a true freshman if Dylan goes to the NFL? It's doable. It'll be a fun battle, though. I mean, I'll tell you that. Hopefully Marcus Davila 6th round that long. We don't know. TJ Lateef, hopefully he's on that roster. Hopefully Dayton's there. Dane will be there. And then you got, of course, Trey. It'll be a fun battle to see. I will tell you this. I do think if Marco's 6th round, it will be Marcus's job. But Trey definitely has an opportunity. I'll tell you from the conversations I've had with Trey, he is coming here to compete right away. That's part of the reason he committed to Nebraska. He loved this culture, but he also felt like this was the best opportunity for him to play as a true freshman. So, at the end of the day, it'll be interesting. We have no idea what this quarterback room is going to look like. There's a reality where Marcos won't be here in 27. There's a reality where TJ won't be here in 27. I don't think Dane's going to be ready. So in that scenario, it will absolutely be Trey Taylor's job, because we got nobody else battling him. But you never know. You just never know what it's going to look like. So it's just too early to say. Carter Nelson looks jacked. Yeah, he looks big, man. He looks big. I wouldn't say jacked. He just looks like he put on muscle. He put a little bit of weight, but he looks good. Ives will have 5 carries a game. I don't know, man. I think that's fair. It might be less. It might be a little bit more. I do think it'll be 5. I think 5's valid. I do think 5's valid. Probably not anything more than that. Just because I don't know what with Isaiah Mozee's package is going to look like. I don't know how many carries he's going to get. I don't know if Jamarion Parker's going to break out like we think he might. What's going on with Mekhi Nelson? But I think 5 carries a game is fair. Wilson, are you going to any of the open practices? We only have one open practice, right? It's not this Saturday, but next. I believe we only have one. So only one open practice, not practices. Unfortunately, I will not be going because I'm actually coming back from a trip that Saturday, so I will not be in Lincoln, unfortunately. So I will not be there, but we will have a video the next day, that Sunday morning, talking about all the nuggets. Well, I'll hear a bunch of stuff. I'll get a bunch of videos. People will send me things. So it'll be fine. Well, I'll give you guys all the goods. Don't worry about it. But I will not be there in attendance for that just because I'm coming back from a trip. But I probably would be if not. So, but we do only have one open practice, right? I think that's the case. I think it's only one. It's the Big Red Preview, whatever they want to call it. So Ives and Mozee better be getting 8 to 15 a game or Emmett will wear down. Yeah. Well, that's pushing it because I don't know how many carries we're going to have a game as a team. Like, I think we, at best case scenario, we're probably having 30 carries a game as a team. As a whole team, 30 carries, I think would be fair. I think Emmett's going to get at least 20 of those if that were to be the case. So, but I agree. Like, I think Mozee got to have a package. We got to have, Isaiah Mozee getting the game a lot. Quinn Ives in the short yardage situations. Like, that's really where you get banged up. The short yardage situations. Like, that's where things happen in the pocket. When the guy's going to tackle on top of you, you got offensive linemen tackling on top of you. Like, things will happen, right? So, hopefully in the short yardage situation, we put in Quinn Ives in the game so he doesn't get injured as much. All right, super chat. You guys know if you guys do super chat. I'm never the type to beg for super chats. I know some YouTubers do that. That's not me. I respond to all the comments anyways, but if you do super chat, I do respond to it immediately. Theo, that's my guy. That's my guy, Theo. Theo, thank you so much for your $10. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for supporting the live shows as always. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate you and everything, all you guys do for the channel. Thank you so much. All right, getting back to the comments. Can't blitz if he's catching a quick route for 4 or 5 out of the backfield. Dylan is smart enough to recognize blitz and put Emmett right back behind him. Agree with you. I mean, you're 100% right. But again, we need Emmett to be more of a pass pro running back for that exact reason. Like if we have a blitz coming in, we need our running back to pick up the opposing linebackers coming off the edge. Because in the past, our running backs have not been successful in doing that, and that'll leave a free edge rusher right for Dylan. Dylan's going to go struggle, and he's going to throw it away, or he's going to take a sack. And Dylan was not good under pressure last year. So it all kind of starts with mitigating the disaster there, and then hopefully when there is pressure, he can step in the pocket and make a play. Wilson always working. I appreciate it, my man Nick. Appreciate that. Did you get College Football 26? I did not. I did not get it. Simply because I just didn't know how much they changed. I didn't know what they changed about the game. It looked pretty similar. And honestly, I kind of don't regret not getting it because I heard it's bad. That's what people are saying. People are saying that the new game is not very good. So I still am rocking with 25. So I don't know. That might change though. I might at some point get 26. You never know. What does Nebraska look like moving forward if this team does not make a big jump this year? Well, I think they're going to see a lot of people a lot more pessimistic going into next offseason. I think you're going to see, Matt Rhule definitely, I wouldn't say hot seat, but there's some pressure there. It's kind of like Scott Frost going into his 4th year. Like, it's put up or shut up time, right? Like, this is it. So if let's just say if we only win 6 or 7 games this year, I think there's a lot of people who are going to get really pessimistic and say, man, this is just us for forever. We're just going to be a middling Big Ten team. We're never going to take that jump. I mean, you can do a lot worse than 6 and 6 or 7-5, but you can also do a lot better. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on them. I'll say that. But I think, especially in the new era of college football, especially with NIL, it's either you got it or you don't. And if you don't got it, you're not going to get any NIL money. You're not going to win any recruiting battles, and it's just a lot harder to be successful. You've got to take that big jump ASAP in order to be successful. Because with NIL, it's just not going to slow down. And I'll tell you this: if we win 6 games this year, the boosters won't be too excited. They're not going to donate as much money. We won't have as much money for NIL. We won't get as many good transfers. The talent will get worse, and it'll be even harder to win these games. And that's where the decline happens. So that's why I've told you guys that it's so imperative Nebraska takes the jump this year, because if it doesn't happen this year, it will probably never happen because it just gets harder. It gets hard because you get less and less talent as the years go on. Who are the Pete brothers Rhule is talking about with NIL? I don't know what you're referring to. I don't know. Was that today? Might have to send me that. Where are you going on vacation? I'm going up north. Northern Minnesota. I'm fishing up there for a week. I do it every summer. So I'm leaving, actually, I'm leaving on Friday. So leaving on Friday. I'll be back next Saturday. So I'm on for a week-long trip. I got a lot of pre-recorded content already, so we'll be fine. We'll have daily uploads. We might have double uploads there from my cabin like we did last year, so we'll be good. Is there any chance we flip Tyne Davis? I wouldn't bet on it. But, I mean, if you can get him on a visit somehow this fall, anything can happen. Like, I would just say, hey, Tyne Davis, free tickets for the Nebraska-Michigan game. Go watch Michigan. You're committed to them. If we win, might just help our odds. You never know. I think Markway should start at tight end. I like his game a lot. Like, he's going to have a chance. He's healthy, man. He's going to have a chance. But I think it'll probably be Lindenmeyer. That's my guess. Can't believe we played both Ohio State and Oregon in 26 and 27. Yeah, man, that's another reason why you got to take advantage of this year. Got to take advantage of this year because it's not getting any easier. This is what we sit here and we still kind of have a difficult schedule. Like this, we still have Penn State, we still have Michigan, we still have USC, but it's the easiest schedule in the Big Ten. We could be having what Michigan has playing, all these tough teams. So we just gotta. It's always going to be hard in this conference. We got to accept it. We got to embrace it. Okay, we can't be soft. We already are soft when it comes to our non-conference scheduling. We're not playing anybody good or anything. So for that reason, we got to execute when we actually play these Big Ten squads going forward. If Florida stinks it up or Billy is fired, do you think we could flip CJ back? Absolutely. I think it's definitely in play. I think CJ made a bad decision. Am I betting on Florida being bad? Probably not. I think they'll probably win 7 games. That's going to be good enough for Billy to stay there. So the only way we flip CJ is if he gets fired. It's the only way. It's the only possible way. Do you think Cincinnati is the most important game on our schedule? I wouldn't say it's the most important, but it's definitely top 3. It's imperative they win that football game because if you lose against Cincinnati, we just know it's going to happen, right? The season's crumbled down before it's even begun. So you got to win Cincinnati. If you lose that game in some weird scenario, we're screwed. We're not in a good spot. I'll just put it at that. We're not in a good spot. What do you think Nebraska ranks at NIL? Again, we're top 20 pretty easily. I'd say maybe top 15. Like we do have lots of money. But unlike these other programs, we budgeted a lot more of these other programs for the portal. And also, one of our big mistakes right now is where a lot of our NIL money is not actually going to players. It's going to our stadium renovation. So that's kind of a huge issue is that some of our money that could be going to the team is actually going to pay for these boosters and their nice little club seats. So that's something I'm not very happy about. Not many Nebraska fans are. That stadium renovation is a complete joke. They need to just not do it, in my opinion. Who will be the most improved player this year? Good question. I'll throw out some names for you. I think Heinrich is going to take a big step forward. He's going to be potentially on the All-Big Ten team. Cameron Lenhard, Riley Van Poppel, Willis McGahee, he's somebody who's going to take a huge jump forward. Some of these younger DBs like a Mario Buford, a Larry Tarver, Deshaun Singleton, I think is going to take a huge jump. And then hopefully John Holt takes a huge jump. Right? John Holt's talented. It's just, he got dealt a bad hand last year with the snapping and the holding. He did miss some kicks, right, where there was a perfect hold and perfect snap, but hopefully this year he can break out because he does have a nice leg talent. So those are some guys that I think could happen. Best case scenario over the next 5 years. Best case scenario this year, we make the playoffs at 10-2. We lose first round. I think it's the best case scenario. Then we have a great 27 class, great portal class, a lot of hype going into 2026. We make the playoffs again. We win 1 game. We incrementally get better. Then going into 2027, we have a brand new starting quarterback in Trey Taylor. He is the real deal right from the get-go. Our roster is very talented. But with him being a true freshman, we do the exact same thing. And we win 1 game in the college football playoff and we lose, maybe in the Rose Bowl. And then in 28 with Trey Taylor, another year under his belt. The roster's the best it's been. We have some 5-stars who are coming in. We have 5-stars who've been sitting on the bench after that 27 class. Maybe Ahmad Hudson's breaking out. We make the semifinals of the college football playoff. And then if everything goes right, best case scenario with how good this 27 class is and when the NIL turns up, sky's the limit, right? That's what I would say. Best case scenario is national championship. But it all depends on winning this year. Now, if you lose this year and you only win 6 games, that's never going to happen. Or even if you win 8 games this year, that's never going to happen. It kind of starts now with winning 10, making the playoffs, and then hopefully as the years go on, you can continue to improve on that, is what I would say. RVP, I agree. I think Riley Van Poppel is going to be very much improved. I would hope so, man, because he's probably going to start. We can't have liabilities on this defensive line. So yeah, he's absolutely going to have to improve. All right, guys. I want to ask one last question before we get out of here. One last question for you. What is your biggest thing that you're looking out for in fall camp? Your biggest storyline, positional battle, breakout player, maybe a coach thing, maybe just one thing that you want to see improved. What is the biggest storyline in your opinion going into fall camp? I'll give you mine. I'll give you, okay. I could say offense, like objectively, like what Dana Holgerson's offense is going to look like. I could say special teams. I just think from a positional battle standpoint, I honestly think my my biggest intrigue is corner. Whoever wins that corner battle, I think, could very well determine how good this defense entirely is. Like, if Amari Sanders breaks down a big way and is that physical corner two that we're looking for with athletic upside, we could have one of the better defenses in America. Or if we have the same issue last year where we just don't have an option at corner two and we're having a revolving door, it could be a weak link. So I think corner is really a positional battle that could impact a lot of things. Defensive line is going to be interesting. I feel pretty good about who's going to start there. Other than that, tight end. Tight end's a huge battle. I'm excited to see what happens at tight end. Who will be taking over for Matt Rule? Man, I don't got the answers for that. I don't know. Hopefully Matt Rule's sticking around for the next 10 years. Hopefully. There's a lot of Nebraska fans who would tell you it's going to be Dana Holgorsen. I hope not. I like Dana Holgorsen as the offensive coordinator. He's not a good head. I think, well, I shouldn't say he's not a good head coach. He is a good head coach. But I think his best days of coaching are behind him, frankly, as a head coach. He's a great coordinator, but his best days of head coaching are behind him. I'd rather have an up-and-comer. That's what's really going to succeed nowadays, or the Dan Lannings of the world, or the Dillinghams of the world, right, like Arizona State. It's the young coaches. Will the jerseys change? We need an update. Are you talking about jersey numbers or the alternate jerseys? From a jersey standpoint, from a number standpoint, they will change in about 3 weeks. From a alternate jersey standpoint, we probably will have alts this year. I have a video probably in about a week talking about that. I expect all whites. So what I'm thinking we might do some all whites because they loved doing that last year. Kicking game for me, I agree with you, man. We got to have a solidified kicker this year. Got to have a solidified kicker. We need to avoid injuries and develop both lines 100%. That's important. That's actually a good point, Corey. That might be the biggest thing I'm looking out for. Stay healthy, because when was the last time we had a fall camp where we were unscathed and we went to the year 100% healthy? It hasn't happened. Like last year, Teddy, of course, got injured the year before. We've had some injuries. Like, we need to go into this year 100% ready to go, 100% healthy on every single aspect. So, also injury to EJ or Dylan Cadorel, 100%. I want to hear reports of Holgorsen throwing clipboards, grabbing face masks, or getting players' faces when they screw up. I don't know if he's that type of guy. He's more of a laid-back type of coach, more of a go-to-flow type of coach. I don't think he's that type of guy. I think if there's any coordinator who's going to do that, it's Mike Eckler. I think Mike Eckler would do that, but I don't think Dano's doing that. Dana is not doing that. Matt Rule definitely ain't doing that. If anybody's going to do that, it's definitely Mike Eckler. What does Iowa look like this year? I think they're going to be a 6-win team, maybe 7 wins. I just don't trust their offense. I think Mark Gronowski's going to be trash. I don't think Mark Gronowski's any good. So I think their offense is going to be pretty bad once again. They have a tough schedule too. They play some tough teams, so I'm thinking 6 or 7 wins for Iowa. Do you think Haarberg should be used in a read option plays instead of being a tight end? No. I don't like when they do that in the past, where they would put in Haarberg at quarterback and they put him on this, clearly a zone read or a triple option or something. That's just a dead giveaway to the opposing defense. It's going to be a run play. So why would you put Haarberg in at quarterback? I don't know. I just don't like that. Don't like that because it's a dead giveaway. It's going to be a run, because if it was a pass, you'd still keep Dylan in there. So it's a good move. They moved him away from quarterback just because he wasn't great at quarterback. We know we got the full scoop on him. We saw him under his 4 years here. He wasn't a good quarterback. He had his chance at that position. So I like him more at tight end, but I wish they made the transition sooner. I wish they didn't last offseason, because in that case he probably could have started this year, but they did a little bit too late in my opinion. DR needs to drop some weight. Sorry. Maybe he already did. He looks okay. I mean, he still looks a little, he still looks a little bigger, but Dale was an offensive lineman. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's in his genes. He's fine. I think it's over. The whole Dylan Ron needs to lose weight. The whole conversation's overrated. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't impact as much as you would think it does. I think in overall, the jerseys in general, no, we can't. I'm all for alternate jerseys, but we're too historic of a program to change our uniforms. That's just not what we do around here. So we gotta keep them. We gotta keep them. All right, guys, we've been going here for about 1 hour and 30 minutes. Let me know your final stuff down below. Just to give you a quick scheduling update, what you can expect from the channel going into the season. Obviously, the deep dive will start off with that. So deep dive will be this Saturday. Once again, graphics, statistics, put a lot of work into this one. My individual player ratings, that will be released this Saturday, 10 o'clock Central. Then the following Saturday, so not this Saturday, but the Saturday after that will be my record prediction with a lot more graphics as well. A lot of predictions there, bowl game predictions, college football playoff predictions, right? Stuff like that. So that will be released also in the Saturday afterwards. I believe it's August 2nd, 10 o'clock Central. So just mark your calendar for both of those. I would love you guys to show support on both those videos, watch them, because again, just put a lot of work into those. So that's the videos. As for live streams, I don't know when we'll be going live next. Probably in about 2 weeks, I think, when I come back from vacation, we'll go live at some point talking about fall ball, talking about all the nuggets that we do. And then we'll do a full season preview stream about a week or two before the season like we did last year. So that's that from a live stream standpoint. That's what you can expect. And then for the season, I'll get some questions about that. Of course, we're going to have our post-game live streams as we always do. So right after the game, we'll go live, whether it's outside Memorial Stadium or it's in here, right, for an away game. We will be going live after the game. I'll probably do a pregame live too. Probably not before the game, the day of, but maybe the day before or on Thursday. So definitely let me know your guys' thoughts on that. Would you like a preview show on that Friday, like right before the game, or a Thursday? We'll probably do one. So that's what we can expect from live streams. As for the daily content, like, I just want to take this moment to thank every single one of you guys for supporting the channel all summer long. Like, usually, I know how it is in Nebraska YouTube. Like, I've been doing this for about 2-3 years now. During the off season, I'm the only one who's posting. Like, I know how it is. I'm the only one who's posting, and I understand that because it's hard to make content about Nebraska football. And a lot of people who make content about this program don't follow it as closely as maybe I would, so it's harder for them to make content about recruiting, or it's harder for them to make content about the day-to-day stuff, right? So it's easier to make content when the season actually rolls around. So my mindset on this channel has always been, well, I'm just going to bring you guys daily news because as a fan, I know that's what I want. Like, I want the daily news around recruiting. I want the daily news around what the media's talking about. So I just want to thank you guys for all the support, all that you showed me all summer long. I know that, over these next couple weeks, we're going to get, some more YouTubers come back in the fold, and that's awesome. And I love it when all these YouTubers come back. But again, I just want to appreciate all you guys for showing support right now, and I hope you guys stick around during the season because the content's only getting better. The content's only getting better. The family's only growing. And the fact that we're sitting here at 12,000, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. I was just a couple years ago, a kid sitting in my parents' basement making videos, and I'm still a kid in the basement making videos. But I'm older now, right? I'm older, and I don't live at home full time. I go to college now, but it's definitely humbling. And you guys have given me the opportunity to do a lot of cool things from an equipment standpoint, from an upgrade standpoint, from getting my own apartment soon, my own house soon. So I mean, just so grateful for all you guys. And again, I'm not employed by any publication. I'm not employed by a website or anything. I just do this because I love it. I do it because it's fun, and I enjoy bringing daily content for you guys. So I just wanted to sell that. I'm so grateful for all you guys for showing me support all summer long. And I just hope it stays that way during the actual year, because man, it's going to be very fun this year. We're going to have a lot of winning to talk about. So I just want to thank all of you guys. That's my spiel. I only do that about once a year, but just wanted to take that time to thank all of you. Again, it's a small thing. Just watching the video, it all contributes. Watching the video, hitting the like button, commenting, it all contributes. You might not think it matters, but it really does. So thank you all to every single one of you, especially the guys who are in the live chat tonight commenting your stuff. All right, guys, last stuff here. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Are you going to the Cincinnati game? I am not. I'm not going to the Cincinnati game. I was thinking about it. It's just going to be tough. It's going to be tough with I start off college, I believe, the week before that. So I'd prefer not to, but I'll be at all the home games. So I will be live on the channel for that game, obviously, but we will not be in attendance there. So, but I will be at all the home games. So don't worry about that. All right, guys, we're out. All right. Go Big Red. Go Met Roll. And I will see you in the next one.